All right, moving on to the next session here. Coach Brady, talking about 3-4. We're going to talk about principles to be consistent on defense during this session, okay? So this goes for really any defense you're going to run. But these are 6 things I think are really, really important to having success on the defensive side of the ball. Your staff, your players, everybody's got to believe in this and buy into these 6 things. So first, we'll run to the football, communication, technique and eyes. Where are my eyes at? It's a big part of what we do here. Functional intelligence. Ball disruption, that's always fun, getting turnovers and getting the ball on the ground and scoring on defense. Talk about that a little bit. And then number 6 is technology and film study. In today's world, there's so much technology for our student athletes to use. We've got to take advantage of that whenever we can. All right, so let's start first. Run to the football. This is where the D-line coach usually is the best, hype guy, get excited, sprint, swarm, fly around, hustle, all those things we talk about. Coaches use these words, but you have to buy into it. It has to be a real thing in your program. You go to college football practice, and that's all they talk about is run to the football, run to the football. Those guys play one side of the ball. That's what they're bred to do, and you got to do it to get on the field. Well, if we can do that in high school, and we can be that same level and get our kids to play that hard, we're going to have a lot of success. But as a coaching staff, we got to buy into it first. We have to coach it. We have to bring it every day to practice. Because our kids reflect what we do as coaches. There is no doubt about it, okay? It's the first principle of our defense. Everything for us starts with running to the football. First day of practice, you're a freshman, you have no idea what's going on. We just taught you the basic front. We taught you, base Okie. Here's where you're going to line up. Here's your key. On the snap of the football, react to what he does right now, right? Everybody's like, yeah, I got it. And you get out there and the bullets start flying, and it's like, whoa, you have no idea what's going on. But you can still run to the football and play fast and play hard, right, no matter what happens. Okay, so I think that's really important, a principle of our defense. Also, part of that is we're going to play a lot of guys. So as a D lineman, you should only be able to play 4 or 5 plays. You should be gassed. You should have to come out of the game, put somebody else in, go back in a couple plays. Right? Well, I believe in that system of platooning those guys so they can play hard every play. The second thing it does, I think it intimidates the team we're playing on film. They're going to watch our film. Again, technology is a big deal nowadays. They're watching film too. They're taking advantage of it. They're going to watch how you play, right? If they see us have 11 guys that fly around and we're playing 28 guys on defense in a game, they're going to be like, wow, they play a lot of guys and they play really hard. That's going to help us psychologically at some point in that game. But also for us, we know that we believe in it, okay? The third thing is we always talk about no big plays as a defense. Bend but don't break, whatever you want to say, okay? We want our points allowed to be low for the season as a head coach and a defensive coordinator, obviously. That's a pride thing. Hey, we give up 7 points a game. That'd be a great season. We'd all like to be able to say that. But one way to help that number is by running to the football. The more you run to the ball, you can knock some of those big plays down and good things happen. One thing that happens a lot, I think you see guys change speed on film. They're the backside guy and they're kind of jogging and all of a sudden they see the ball and they take off and run really fast. Okay, we don't want to see that. For us, that means less reps the next week. Okay, we can't have guys that are taking plays off. Or guys that are saying, oh, Johnny's got the play, he got it, he'll make it. Oh, he didn't make it. Now I got to take off and try and make the tackle, and now I'm late. Okay, so I think that's important with how that goes. All right, communication. All right, we're going to strive to eliminate all communication errors. Okay, we don't want anybody on the wrong page. Okay, and this is hard nowadays because kids live on their phones. They don't know how to talk to each other, right? They can text, right? They can do all that stuff, but they can't talk to each other. So we spend a lot of time on communication, how we're going to disseminate the information to our players and our players to each other. Okay, and that begins in the meeting room. Okay, we meet every day before practice, either as a whole defense or individually. But in camp, we'll have time, right? For sure, we're going to have our DBs in a room, outside backers, D-line, inside backers. They're going to be in a room with their coach for probably 30 minutes at least. They have time to talk about how we're going to communicate the calls. Okay, hand signals, verbally, how we're going to get that information out to them so we can all be on the same page. As you know, if we're all running the same play, we have a chance to have success, all right? But we're all on the same page. It's very, very important for us, okay? Now, the last one, we're going to do it in practice and games. So we want to make sure we're practicing the way we're going to play. We're going to run to the football in practice, okay? If we have to use 2 whistles, we will. We're going to communicate in practice. We're going to make sure that when we're doing any kind of a team drill, The coach is not calling out the play. If we're doing signals on game day, we got to do signals during practice. If we're using the wristband, use the wristband during practice. But get used to that communication so in the game it's seamless. It's not like something new added to their wrist. You know, they got like the wristband now on game night, but during the week you yell the call to them all week. Okie Riz 3, right? Instead, if we're giving them a signal, we got to give them the signal. Okie, whatever that is, Okie Riz 3. Okay, so that we can communicate that to the system. The other part of that is sometimes things change. We have to be ready to get ourselves in the right call. So how do we disseminate the information to our kids? Okay, breaking it down a little bit for you real quick, okay? We're going to teach signals in the meeting room. So when we put a defense in, say you put a new call in, a new blitz, say you put flame in. When we put flame in, we're going to tell them if it's going to be striking a match as flame, okay, that's everyone needs to know that, all 11 guys on the defense. So in every meeting room, whether it's a DC doing the whole defense or broke up in positions, we're going to talk about how we're going to do that communication for that call, all right? We practice signals from day one of insertion, so we'll do that. Usually in the middle of camp, we'll have a review and trying to have our young guys give the signals to the team to make sure they do know them, because if you don't ask, they're not going to tell you, right? But it's very important. All of a sudden, it's third game of the year, and you thought you weren't going to play much. You're a sophomore, and the two guys in front of you get hurt, and now you're playing. And you're in the game, you don't know the signals, right? It happens. So this is really important. And for me, this is on the coaches, the communication stuff. This is up to us, okay? We talked about sideline communication during practice, okay? We got to plan and expect 22 eyes for the defensive call. So when the play ends, the ball's on the ground, we make a tackle in the game. As soon as they get up, their eyes are to the sideline. Because right away, our defensive staff has to be ready to make the next call. What's the next call going to be? We have a main guy that gives the call, and then also each position has a person to look at to make sure they got the right call if they have to double check it, okay? And lastly, our players on the field, really more our secondary guys than anybody else, but they will also use hand gestures, okay? Different things, square, whatever they want to use to help them disseminate to themselves what we're doing, what the call is. That comes into play a lot more when you get a motion or a shift, or we got to check a call based on something the offense did. But it is our goal, okay, to eliminate this phrase, okay? I did not know, I did not hear, I did not understand. And it happens every year. It does. Even to us, we talk about it all the time. We don't want to hear that. And we went back last year and did a study of our bad plays on defense, the big plays we gave up. And most of the plays we gave up that were bigger plays, this was part of it. There's times on film I don't know what the defense we're in is, right? I can't tell what we're playing. That's a problem, right? When one side's playing one thing, the other side's playing something else, that's going to cause big plays. That's going to get us hurt, all right? That's us beating ourselves, right? We don't want to beat ourselves. Force the other team to beat us. Okay, and again, it gets back to perfect communication. Now, again, we can talk about it all day long. Again, we do talk about it a lot in our program, and it still happens. So if you're not talking about it at all, you're making a lot of mistakes. And communication can really save you and make your team better as far as that goes. All right, really big part of what we do, technique and eyes. Okay, we want to be technique sound. So we have a player manual all of our players get, and that player manual is going to tell them what their technique is. You know, their stance, their start, how they should be, how far they should be, what their alignment is. All those detail-oriented things is really important for our guys to buy into and get, and then work at it, okay? We got to really work at what we do with our technique, okay? We want to be perfect in those different, where our hands are, thumbs up, try and get our hands above our eyes, get locked out. We have a lot of buzzwords we use, but this is something we should be doing every day. Every day our guys are getting better. And in Indy, we're working on these techniques and where our eyes go, okay? And just like every NFL athlete, we will work to perfect our craft at our position. Those guys in the NFL get paid to do it, so they work on it every day of the year. Those D linemen work on pass rush every day. If you're making $300,000 a year to rush the quarterback, you'd probably work at it too, right? But for our guys, it's about being really good in our system and getting on the field and having success. So why wouldn't you work on these things, okay? How do we get better? Okay, where our technique becomes our instinctive reactions. We want our guys to see their key and react and make it natural muscle memory. We all have habits from growing up, whether we played youth football or not. We're going to be taught certain things. We're going to do things a certain way, right? So if we've been attacking with a chicken wing since we were 5 years old, that's how we were taught in youth football. That's what we're going to do until we're taught different. Okay, and when the bullets start flying, even though we're teaching them this all day long, as soon as the bullets start flying, they're gonna go back to chicken wing, right? Because that's what they remember. That's their muscle memory when things get hot. So we want to get that where instinctive reactions are really good technique. So a technician makes you a much better football player, a chance to make more plays. Okay, it's a security, balance out, ability mismatches. So I'm a smaller guy playing against a bigger person, but if I play with great leverage and great technique and I react to my keys appropriately, I will have success against a bigger player. Now, if I try to stand up straight to him and go chest to chest, I'm not gonna have success. He's bigger, stronger than I am, right? And we're not asking our guys to two-gap a 300-pound man and throw him out of the hole and make a tackle. We're asking our guys to do their job, right? Play their gap, be gap sound, okay? Create separation. We're gonna have collisions, then we're gonna create separation, right? Get our arms locked out. So even if that guy is bigger than me, I can get away from him. I can even give a little ground if I need to create that separation, to allow myself to get off a block and make a play. All right, so that's the ability mismatch. And the last thing, it takes away stress on a big play. So it's fourth quarter, 4th and goal. You know, we've been doing this all day long. All I'm doing, I'm going back to my technique and my muscle memory. They may be nervous, right? We're not gonna be nervous. It's been imprinted into our players for so long. And that's why once you're in the program 3 or the 4th year, by that point, we shouldn't have any mistakes in technique. This should be easy for us. And we should be able to handle situations that are heated or stressful, right? And everybody's cheering, everybody's excited. It's the last play of the game, but we're just gonna react to what our keys have told us over time, okay? All right, eyes. So the eyes part of it. This is probably one of the most important things for me in our defense is where are your eyes and what's your key do? That's something we gotta be talking to our kids about all the time. You gotta see your key. And this comes from in practice, live, you're going against another guy on the other side of the ball and you're seeing the key. On the sidelines, you're not in the play, but you're still watching, right? There's 3 ways to learn, okay? And 2 of them, you don't have to be in the play. You can listen, you can watch, and you can learn. I think that's really, really important, okay? So where's my key going? How do I react to it? That's really important for our guys and our coaches. So during practice, I will have our coaches ask their players after a play, what did your key do? Where did he go? What does that mean to you? So obviously if your kid says, I don't know, it means he's not looking at the right place. All right, you got an outside linebacker who's supposed to look at the tight end, but he's looking in the backfield, right? You can't play a tight end and look in the backfield at the same time. You're gonna get hit in the mouth, right? You're gonna get messed up as far as either in your technique and where you're supposed to be or in your job for that play. I gotta own my gap first. If I'm lined up on somebody, I gotta own them first and then find the ball. Right? Or if I'm in space, I'm gonna take a picture. Now where are my eyes? If I'm reading M-LOS, M-man line of scrimmage, I read my key, that tells me how to react and what to do, right? Because there's 3 base plays. There's run to me, run away, and there's pass. As soon as that ball is snapped on defense, I gotta be able to do those 3 things. How do I react? It's run to me, what do? I'm forced. It's run away from me, maybe I'm BCR. Okay, it's pass, I got curl flat. Or pass, I'm rushing. Okay, these are all things we gotta know right now. That's the difference between being a defensive player and being an offensive player, right? Offense, you know where you're going. Defense is reactionary. All right, so we talk about functional intelligence. Moving on to this. Okay, the 4 A's. Alignment, how I get lined up. My assignment, what my job is. Adjustments, and then being aggressive. So we'll run through those real quick. Okay, so alignment. We want to be precise with our alignment. Okay, don't just be close to where you're supposed to be. Be exactly where you're supposed to be. Attention to detail. This is where I think the classroom comes into it too. We say our program starts in the classroom, what they do with our teachers, where their grades are like, and it's so true. The guys that are AB students are better football players. They have more attention to detail, they care about it more, they work at it, and they have better success. The guys that don't do as well in school, at some point they're gonna lose this part of it. This is where they get hurt. Okay? It also hurts them in recruiting. There's a reason that colleges want to recruit guys that have A's and B's. Okay? So, an attention to detail, like I said before. I mean, we want guys that care about their alignment. If we say a 5 tech, it's important that you're shoulder to shoulder. Okay? Wide 5, get a little bit wider. 4, I want you head up on the guy, on the tackle. It's important to us because the defense is set up in a certain way for you to have success. So being a half yard lined up wrong can affect our defense and affect your success. All right, so assignment, no mental errors. So in a game for us, our goal for our guys is to be 90% or higher in assignment. What's that mean? that means when the ball, number one, it means getting lined up correctly in the right place. Number two, it means when the ball is snapped, reacting to my key and being in the right position. Whether I make the play or not, that's a whole other thing. But I can't make the play if I'm not in the right spot, not doing the right things, right? It's going to get our defense hurt at some point. So no mental errors on assignment, understanding my gap, my coverage, my blitz, etc., my blitz track, where am I going, what is my job? If they don't understand their assignment, how can they do it? They can't. We got to make sure they understand what their job is, how they fit into the puzzle, right? It's all a puzzle we're putting together on defense to stop the offense and be sound at what we do. Okay? And like I said, we're going to strive for 90% grade on assignment. We can handle the physical errors. Physical mistakes are going to happen. We're going to get some penalties because people are being aggressive. Face masks, we don't want them to happen. They're going to happen, right? But the mental errors, we got to, reduce them as much as possible if we want to have the success we want to have in our program. Okay, adjustment. Prepared for any motion or shift by the offense. So I think that's just about, we do it in pre-practice. We do it in the board first. We do it in pre-practice. We show motions or shifts by the offense. They go from, 2x2 to empty. How are we going to react to that? Maybe there's a check, maybe there's not a check. Okay, but these are adjustments our kids have to make. We come out, they're in two backs, and the back's offset to me. Well, that's an adjustment. I know now that just changed what plays they're going to run. Okay, these are adjustments our kids. It gets back to functional intelligence for our players. Now, again, as coaches, we know that, but the more we can get the kids to understand that and imprint it in them, the better players they're going to be. Okay? You have to know how and where you're supposed to move before it happens. Okay, so we already know in our minds, again, this gets back to having quick reactions and understanding what we're doing defensively. And that's why it's good to be simple first as we grow within our system. I know if they motion the change of strength, how we're going to react to that, how we're going to move. We have to be able to match up the match with our defense. So how we're going to make that move, okay? And alert calls. I think these are great for kids to start to understand, okay, if that slot lines up really, really tight, or all of a sudden the H-back is off, we're expecting a motion, or we're expecting a down block, or we're expecting that guy to come inside. These kind of alerts can really help us. If a guy goes in jet motion, alert. Those kind of things help our defense to prepare and be ready for that when an adjustment does happen, to be able to make it pretty quickly and seamlessly. I think that's important. It gets back to communication as well, right? That's really a communication thing. The last one is aggressive, right? So the first three A's, they have to be executed for us to attack. It allows us to play fast. So this is really the biggest one for me. Let's be aggressive on the field. Let's get after the offense. This is the fun part of it. We have to take care of the first three, then we can go out and just get after it and play hard and play smart. All right. So now we're out of functional intelligence. Now we're going to talk about ball disruption. And what does that really mean? Okay. It isn't just getting a turnover. It's when we can change the flow of the offense. We can force the offense to take a sidestep or force the quarterback to pump one time before he throws. Okay? Get them confused up front. Get a lineman to step left and have to step right because they missed somebody. Okay? Any way we can disrupt the flow of their offense, that eventually is going to cause them to turn the ball over. Right? And we want turnovers. But it's not just about getting an interception or a fumble. It's also about disruption of the football. Okay? Now, for that to happen, our defense has to have ball awareness. Okay? We have to know where the football is. Now, it starts with our key. You got to see our key and beat our key first and do our job. But then it's about being able to do that and then find the football and rally to it. All right. Result of ball disruption. Turnover or create higher possibility turnover will occur. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to put pressure on the offense because in practice, that play was smooth all week. All of a sudden now it's game night, and now all of a sudden that read's not as clear for the quarterback anymore. And now instead of going 1, 2, 3 and throwing, now he has to go 1, 2, 3. He has to sidestep, right? Or he has to step up. They're running sprint out, and all we can sprint on practice, that guy's clear off the edge. There's nobody there. He throws the ball. It's nice and easy, right? On his fifth step. Now on sprint out against us, all of a sudden there's a guy in his face. Now he has to throw the ball from a different angle. Okay? If I can disrupt the receiver in his route, make him one step slower than he was in practice. Okay? All these things, that's how we cause ball disruption, which leads to big plays, right? Fumbles, tip, batted ball, interceptions, strip sack. I always tell my guys, the biggest play in football and the most fun for defensive coaches is a strip sack touchdown, right? Get a strip sack, big hit in the quarterback, pick it up and score a touchdown. Okay? Biggest play in football. A lot of fun. And that changes momentum. And as we all know, football is a game of momentum. How many times have you seen a game where a team's losing 14-0 and then you can't do anything on offense, and all of a sudden they get a turnover on defense and the game just totally changes, right? So we spend a lot of time about momentum, but causing it with ball disruption. But you got to practice that stuff every day. Why is it important? Well, it's important because this is a study from the NFL from a few years ago. It shows you that if we're +1, meaning that if we turn the ball over twice on offense, but take it away 3 times, we're +1 for the game. We have almost a 3 out of 4 chance of winning that game. And as you can see from the board, the more turnovers you get in the plus side, 94%, this is 2 years ago in the NFL, any team that was +3 in turnovers for a game won 94% of those games. That's a pretty high percentage. And it makes sense, but that's why we want to really talk about taking the ball away and making the offense do things they're not used to doing. And that starts in practice every day. You know, with turnover drills, doing the right technique, playing aggressively and fast to put pressure on the offense and to force those things to happen. All right, technology and film study. This is where, you know, a lot of this stuff is new for us now. All the technology we've had in the last 10 to 15 years in football, it's really totally changed. But I think it's really important for us. We're going to film our drills, practice games. You know, we're going to spend a lot of time on coaching off the film, right? We want to definitely be able to get our guys in the classroom, and we can send them notes at night. Even if we don't have time to meet with our kids a lot, right? Like it's high school, I get it. But if we don't have a lot of time, we can still go on huddle. We can send our note to our players. We can put notes. We can draw stuff. We can coach our guys, the guys that really want to get better at what they do and perfect their craft. We can really help those players to get better. There's no better way to do it than with film, especially in practice. A coach told me the other day, it's a great comment, I'd rather fix it on Tuesday or Wednesday than fix it Saturday after the game. Because after the game, now it hurt our team, right? But if we can fix it during the week, we're going to play better on Friday night and a better chance to have success, okay? I think another point of this too is, and some coaches still coach without the film, but I think to correct actual footwork, hand placement, alignment, etc., that's really hard to do. And there's coaches have been doing this a long time, and they're really good and they know what they're looking for. But I can't imagine a D-line coach trying to coach 3 guys, right, and be able to watch all 3. It's just impossible. You can't do it. It's too much to ask. Now, you have guys that know where they are as far as right gaps or right fits, you know, with the eye. But the film will catch those missteps. It'll catch stepping underneath myself. It'll catch somebody lined up wrong. It'll catch the wrong technique, you know, or DB in the wrong spot. Those are the things, that's how we change the game for our kids and make our kids better, you know, as far as technology goes. There's so much information out there and the access to it now, it's got to change how we coach. It really does. And kids are used to it because of their phones and their iPads and all the stuff they have. You know, they're on all these things, Snapchat and TikTok and all this other stuff they're doing, whatever. But now they have another source of film and something that's actually productive for them to do with their time, you know, which I think is great. It's really easy for us to coach off of the film, and during practice, you know, we're going to pull a kid out and put somebody else in and keep rolling. You know, when I grew up, it was different. You know, we'd practice for 3 hours, and after every play, they'd talk to 3 of us, and we'd be 5 minutes between every play. We just don't have time for that. We only have 90 minutes a day to practice, so we can't afford to be, you know, taking 5 minutes per play. If we got to talk to a kid, put the next kid in, bring that kid out, talk to him, and make sure you explain why you're talking, what the importance of it is, and then also we got to use the film. You've got to use our film to get better, okay? And then the last thing here is very, very, very true. You know, kids don't always believe you. You tell them they're false stepping or they're doing something wrong with their feet. They'll be like, I don't think I'm doing that, coach. They said, all right, we'll watch the film, and you watch the film, and they are. And that's when they realize the light goes off. Hey, I am wrong here. I didn't even realize I was wrong. Okay, but that's where the film is so valuable as far as that goes. Okay, film makes us better. How does it make us better? Well, number one, we teach them how to watch the film. Coaches as well. So we're going to coach up our new coaches. You know, how we watch film. Who are we watching? What are we doing with that? And the players as well. Because we're all fans. You know, you watch college football, pro football on Sundays, and you follow the ball, right? You don't really watch your position if you're a lineman. You don't watch the little idiosyncrasies if you're a linebacker, okay? But these are things you can really learn once you learn how to watch film and what you're looking for and what your keys are, okay? That's a big deal. Okay, and I actually have our kids watch college and pro football and say, and watch your key. Pretend you're a linebacker. Read the guard to the back for your triangle. Outside backers, look at your keys in NFL. How would you react to that tight end tackle movement? These little things help our guys be better players. All right, coach them what to do, not what they did wrong. All right, so that's a really hard one because our first reaction always is, okay, hey Johnny, here's what you did. Okay, you took this step and that's wrong. That's a negative connotation right away. So what I try to do is we want to give positive reinforcement. So I want to positively tell that kid what to do. So that means I just coach him on how to do it, not what he did wrong. Whatever he did wrong, forget it. He took a false step. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to first step here, okay, second step there, okay, whatever that might be, vertically. Here's where I want your hands. Don't worry about what they did wrong, right? Let's just forget all about all that. And that's hard to do. Number one, it wastes time. We only have so much time anyways, okay? But really want to focus on how we want to coach them. Now, it forces us as coaches to really know our stuff and be really good at what we do, okay? And again, detail-oriented. We want our kids to be that way. We got to be the same way as well, okay? Get back, focus on their keys and how they react to them, okay? I think that's really important. We want to make sure they're seeing what their key does on film, how they should react to that, how they should fit against that, and talk them through it. Talk them through, if they're spilling, I get a down block and I'm spilling to this guy who's over the top. And he expects me to spill it to him, right? We're all working together as a team, and I think that's important. And lastly, we want to be positive, fair, and honest. The kids all watch the film now. We have technology. The kids all watch the film. The kids all know who the best players are, right? Don't kid yourself. The parents don't know, right? Because their son's the best on the field, right? But the kids know. But be fair and honest to all of them. Treat them all the same. You can't treat your star player different than everybody else. In fact, you got to be harder on that kid than anybody else because he has to get better. He has to constantly be challenged. Kids like to be challenged and they like structure. So let's give it to them. All right, some vital parts of film watching. Okay, for me, so we're watching film as a group. I think it starts with offensive personnel and formation. Okay, so for example, hey, they're in 21 personnel twins. That's the first thing I would tell our guys when we're watching film. So that's the first thing they notice. Okay, it's two backs, they're in twins. Okay, so, the two receiver side, that's more of a passing side. The tight end, they're probably run the football to the tight end, depending on how we line up against it. That's how I want our kids to start thinking as they approach the game, all right? Secondly, we're going to talk about the situation. Is it 1st and 10, 2nd and medium, 3rd and long, 3rd and short, all right? Where are they at in the field? Are they on the -2 coming out? That's going to change their play call. Are they in the red zone? Okay? What's the situation in the game? Was it just a turnover? Is it sudden change? Is it the 4th quarter? Is it 2 minute? These situations all matter. So when we're watching film, we're going to talk about all that stuff before we even get to the defensive call. Right? Because that's how our kids will start thinking as they progress. And again, it's a lot for a young player. But they get this every day. So it's like anything else. Once it's beaten to you enough, you're going to start to figure it out and realize how important it is. You're going to start to remember things. And the idea is that we start remembering them naturally without even thinking about them, right? Then I'll give the defensive call and any adjustments for that play. The other thing that's important we don't do enough as coaches is tell them what the offensive play is called. So if they're running, if it's ISO or toss or power or counter tag, counter bag, what's the difference? Inside zone, zone read, it's an RPO, it's a 5-step, it's a 3-step. Screen, all these different words we use that are universal to us as coaches are not universal to our kids until we make them universal to them. So we want to make sure when watching film that we are calling out what the play is. They begin to learn that stuff too. All right. Talk about what the offense is trying to accomplish. What are they trying to do here? Why are they in 21 personnel and I backs? Okay, what are they trying to do to the defense? They're trying to run ISO to the 2 receiver side because they're going to get that Sam out of the box. Okay. Those kind of things really help our kids to start learning the game, understanding it a lot better. Another part of this too, if your kids start to learn information during the game, it's a lot easier to coach them between series. They come off the field, okay, the other team was running power. Well, our kids know what power is. If you have to explain to a kid what power is during a game, you got a problem already, right? You're at a lower level of acumen. And that's going to happen sometimes, especially when you first get into a program and bring this defense or bring your defense to a program. But by the 3rd or 4th year in the program, you should have some really good conversations during a game about what the offense is doing. They should understand what's happening, what they're trying to do to attack you. All right, in conclusion, principles of consistent defense. Right, I went through all 6 of these categories with you guys. I really think, running to the football is where it starts. Communication, even though we talk about it all the time, we don't spend enough time on it, and it's going to get us hurt. And like I said last year in our film study, that was one of our biggest problems, was the big plays we gave up were a communication error. It wasn't always a physical error, it was a communication error of us not being on the same page. All right? Technique and eyes, again, we want to create muscle memory with our technique. We want our eyes to see the right things every play and learn from that. Functional intelligence, that's how our guys get better at what they do. That's how our program grows. And that's how guys get scholarships to go to college and play football. The more FI they have, the better opportunity they're going to have, and the better we're going to be on defense. Ball disruption, that's fun, right? It's created by how we coach it, how we play the game, right? And it starts with attacking your gap, doing your job, and then getting after the football, right? Knowing where the ball is and know how to get that ball disrupted so we can make some big plays. And the last thing is taking advantage of what we have nowadays with the technology and the ability to do film study with our players. Especially in this era right now with COVID, we got a lot of time with our guys. So we should be spending that time getting better with knowledge, football acumen, and learning how to watch film and use our technology wisely.